Hi everyone, welcome to the 74th episode of the Zicast. As always, I'm your host Ryan Zicast, and today I'm joined by Filmmaker Alex Beane.
Filmmaker, oh my god. Ryan Zicast, funny seeing you here.
Yeah, it's funny seeing you here,
God,
Alex
I had no idea I
Beane.
would run into you.
I know.
Yeah.
Here on the Zicast.
You're on the Zicast, where
And you
everyone
had-
has a story.
Exactly, and you had to fight off 73 other people to get on
Yes,
here.
as a little prerequisite, before, going on to this episode of the Zicast, I did have to fight all 73 other guests in hand-to-hand combat, kind of like a Scott Pilgrim scenario. They did turn into coins. So, yeah. So I'm very grateful to be here, I'll say.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, and one of those guests was episode 31 guest Chen, who's technical directing, so I just want to give him a
Look
big
at him.
shout out.
Fun fact, I'm from the same town as Chen.
Oh really, you're from Bergen County, New Jersey?
Yes.
Wow.
I won't say the name of the town
Yes,
for
this is
secrecy,
true.
but
Yeah.
I didn't find that out until last year during a post show for hashtag, and he was just like, "Oh, Miss Eustace?" And I was like, "Hell yeah, Miss Eustace."
Yeah.
She's the GOAT.
Yeah, shout
out
out
Eustace.
Shout out Miss Eustace
Yeah.
if you're watching this.
Yeah, and shout out you, Alex Beane. So to kick off this show, how about you tell us a bit about yourself?
So I am Alex Beane, filmmaker. Me and Ryan Zicast actually thought of this bit last week where he would introduce me as something that I'm just not.
Yes.
So hi, I'm award-winning paleontologist, Alex Beane. I am 17-time WWE champion, John Cena, Alex Beane. Yes. But I guess that just kind of shows how the term filmmaker is very broad.
Yeah.
We talked about this. Because yes, filmmaker is just an easy way to fit in all of this stuff, I guess, that I do, because I like directing, I like writing, I like editing. I do some stuff in social media.
Yeah.
I've kind of started liking acting because I took an improv class last semester, which was great. So filmmaker is just it's a very good umbrella term.
Yeah. And funnily enough, the first ever film set I was ever on was one of your shoots as a producer for Quinnipiac Tonight, which was the joke was that was about Quinnipiac shuttle drivers and that they were crazy.
Yes.
And I was just helping I was a boom operator for that.
I was proud of that one. The shot was very exposed though, but that was just the camera was weird. That was a good one. I liked that one.
Yeah, so that was the first ever film set I was on, which kind of led me into this film world. But now I want to ask you what led you into wanting to study film.
It was actually the exact same shoot. It was just you were so good at holding the boom pole, Ryan Zicast. It really inspired me to become my own filmmaker.
I brought the boom.
He brought the boom.
Boom.
He brings the boom everywhere he goes, dude.
Yes.
What inspired me for film, just film in general? I've thought about this because most people probably say their favorite movie, I assume, or just a really impactful movie from their lives. But I think for me, it was watching those incredibly pretentious YouTube video essays talking about not to reference Scott Pilgrim again, but did you notice that Scott Pilgrim has really cool visual effects? Let's break it down.
Yeah.
And it just kind of led me into Edgar Wright rabbit hole, which Edgar Wright, huge filmmaking influence for me, my number one director in high school, and still top 5. Probably not number 5 also. Love you, Edgar Wright. So it led to those. Also, the titular making movies in your backyard with your friends and editing them together in iMovie in an hour, and them being really bad, and you have a Bohemian Rhapsody needle drop in there for some reason. That actually happened. Shout out Alex Beane. And that kind of led me to really focusing on the editing side of ththings.
Yeah.
Because a lot of my filmmaking influencers are kind of just really well edited YouTube videos, or watching live streams of an editor editing together what they're doing. And me and my friend Alex Beane, who I just referenced, we would do this thing where we would take the audio from movie trailers and put our own footage that we had recorded over it. So they're probably really bad, even though I was very proud of some of those at the time. And that kind of led to me also just memorizing movie trailers. Like, there will be times where just like a random song is playing and I lean over to someone and I'm just like, this song was in the Mission Impossible Fallout trailer. Did you know that? And they're just like, yeah, because but yeah, kind of that leading to actual filmmaking, leading to meeting friends that had a passion for filmmaking, leading to here eventually, me and you, the Zicast episode 74.
Yeah, it all comes full circle. And like remaking trailers and stuff, that's like, you end up doing those in classes, or that in classes too. So it kind of all comes full circle. And a lot of similar stories of people getting into film with things like trailers or music videos and like using softwares like iMovie and just like playing around with them and then kind of building up that like enjoyment of film that way. And you and Edgar Wright just makes too much sense.
Oh, that is such a compliment, Ryan Zags. It was like those Scott Pilgrim video essays leading me to watching Scott Pilgrim, leading me to watching the Cornetto trilogy, Baby Driver, Last Night in Soho when that came out, The Running Man, which as of filming just wrapped today. So
I saw that.
Watching that when that comes out, I'm very much looking forward to it. So yeah, I also watched Edgar Wright. He has a 2-season TV show on BBC called Spaced. It's like 7 episodes long altogether because the British either make shows that are way too long or way too short. So I also watched that. Yeah, he was just a big inspiration for me to me in high school, and that just kind of evolved into now, I'd say.
Yeah, because his work's very quirky, very, very fast, especially in terms of editing, and you kind of always like see his editing, if that makes sense. Did you mention Baby Driver in the list of his films that you just said? I
believe I did mention Baby Driver. Very well edited. So somehow didn't win the Oscar that year. I know it was nominated, but
yeah, like that's my favorite of his, because it's like, it's so even the colors too, and just it's like the ultimate kind of crime drama. And I mentioned that you and I know each other from Quinnipiac Tonight, the sketch comedy show here at Quinnipiac University. So if you don't mind telling us about kind of your journey in that and kind of what you kind of learned and enjoyed about like being a producer for them.
Yes. So Quinnipiac Tonight, as Ryan Zayaks mentioned, and as I assume many other Zicast guests have mentioned, is the SNL-inspired show here at Quinnipiac, #ad, for the club Q30. It's like the broadcasting club here, basically, in simplest terms. So yeah, I joined that freshman year. It was like one of the first, probably the first club I joined. And I started as obviously just a crew member because I was a freshman. And then my second semester, I became an AP or associate producer, which what they do is, so the show is bi-weekly, and in those shows, there are a series of sketches that happen throughout, pre-recorded sketches that the APs, they kind of put together. There's you have a writing session with the cast members and the head writer for the show. And then you find a filming day. You get cast members that are on the show that can do it whenever you're filming. And then you kind of have all that time to edit it together, get in a few rough cuts, and then the actual show happens whenever the following or next show Thursday would be. So yeah, I'd say like a huge takeaway from working on Quinnipiac Tonight was, especially if you're like coming into college for the first time or you're just moving to something new in your life, is that within reason, obviously within reason, because there's a lot of exceptions for everything of what I'm about to say, just say yes to everything. Because I was like a very avid freshman with that show. Because like I signed up for every writing session. I tried to crew every sketch that I could, even though I remember not showing up to some just because I was like tired and probably went to like 4 other filmings that week for sketches. And I did crew roles on the shows. I tried to just be as involved as I possibly could. And that just kind of led me to meeting so many people and learning so much about myself as a filmmaker, because that is what gave me the chance to like hone in all of that stuff I learned from Edgar Wright video essays. So yeah, that's like a really big takeaway. Also, I learned a lot about myself as a filmmaker. Obviously, because filmmaker Alex Beane.
Exactly.
So, and that was a lot of because APs, what they do is they help write, as I said, but they also direct. Most of the time, hold the camera when they're filming. There's exceptions, but most of the time they're holding the camera as well. At least when I was doing it, we were holding the camera a lot of the time. And you're also staging, which is something directors do, but also editor. So you're wearing a lot of hats.
Yeah.
And that kind of taught me how to like balance it all and have, okay, if we do this, we can turn it into this in post, and just a lot about myself as a filmmaker.
Yeah, I appreciate you explaining that, and then explaining that so well, especially for people who don't know what that is. And I very much second what you said, because doing the same position, it really much, at least in my case, I learned so much on the fly, because I'm not really a film major, so a lot of the stuff I just had to pick up by actually doing the shoots. And you, former Zicast guest Michael Rada, and future Zicast guest Sean Volukovich, you're all in the same suite, and we're all producers at the same time. And you guys were all great influences for me and inspirations into wanting to become a producer and kind of make sketches like you guys. And getting to learn from you guys was very instrumental in me becoming a filmmaker, wanting to go further with it. And do you have any sketches that you made, like I brought up the shuttle driver, that really stands out to you?
I do. The first one that kind of got people's attention, where they're like, "Oh, we can do something with this guy," was my second sketch. It was called Ted's Deossified School Survival Guide. It obviously played on Ned's Declassified, for people that aren't in the know.
Yes.
And that had Michael Rada, that had episode 1 guest Jeff Fish. Love him. And a very good friend of mine, Aaron Russell. They were, and Sean was in that too. He was in a bit part.
Yeah.
And they were the cast. It was basically like they were trying to do a film challenge, but it was very much in the style of Ned's Declassified, big time rush kind of editing style, where it's fast paced, sound effects everywhere for no reason. They're breaking the fourth wall, staring into the camera. It made me realize that I think something I'm very good at is parodies.
Yeah.
Because I think my best sketches were parodies of like pre-existing properties. Because my other one from freshman year was a live PD, but with the Paw Patrol. Another one I'm very proud of from freshman year.
Yeah.
And that kind of was that was really funny. We like taped a phone to Michael Rada's chest to, what's the word? Pretend, I guess, to be a body cam.
Yeah.
And we would cut to that sometimes, and I would like put like a recording filter over it to make it look more like a body cam.
Yeah.
And obviously it's a play on. We played on like the Paw Patrol format a lot, because there's a lot you can do to that where it's in like a kind of more hardcore, lack of a better term, setting.
Yeah.
And then I also really like the shuttle driver one, which was a parody of like 80s job training videos.
Yeah.
What other ones freshman year? There was one with Jeff Fish. I don't think we ever had an official name for it, but it was Jeff Fish was a child in one of those pranks, those Jimmy Kimmel pranks, where it's we ate all your Halloween candy, and then Jeff Fish just kind of, as a child, he's playing a child, just goes berserk and like kidnaps his parents, and there's like a standoff between him and police. I was really proud of that one. That one, besides the opening, which was a parody of the Jimmy Kimmel thing, wasn't a parody, which is why I'm kind of very proud of that one. Those are the three that come to mind right away. There are definitely a few more that I can't think of. Yeah,
I think it speaks to your sense of humor a lot, because you riff on a lot of pop culture things. Like, for example, for those who don't know you always say that again?
Say that again?
Which is a joke from the end of the Fantastic Four movie.
Fant-Four-Stick, if you will.
Fant-Four-Stick, where they're talking about, like, where Mr. Fantastic is like, what should we call our team name? And then, I'm forgetting this scene. Is it the Thing who says, we're fantastic? And he says, say that again?
He's just like, I gotta say, it's fantastic. And then it's the say that again.
And then you've turned that into like a running gag that plays throughout like your whole friend group. So I think that makes sense that your great sketches, or the ones that you favor, would be parodies, because it kind of reflects like taking something people know and then like making jokes on it. Would you say? Yeah,
I'd agree with that. Because there's another one. Another sketch that I really liked. It was the NFL Draft Dodger.
Yes.
Which is a play on something I really like parroting, which is Ken Burns' war documentaries, because I just think those are so funny. There's a Community episode in season 3 where they parody it, and there's a YouTube video called Robert E.T., where it's about like E.T. during like Civil War time, and it's really funny also. It's just like a really funny format to parody, because like when you have such like a set format of stuff, keeping within that format but making fun of it is just like really, I find it very enjoyable.
Yeah, because there's always like a fine line between something very serious and something you can make funny, where a lot of times, like if you took movie scenes and just turned off the audio and took away some of the context, it would be funny. Yeah. So I appreciate that you play on that. But also, we know each other from Quinnipiac Tonight, but we also know each other from working for Quinnipiac Productions. Yep. Quinnipiac's kind of production house. We help make social media content, long form and short form for the school. So if you don't mind telling us about your experience there and kind of what that's teaching you.
Yeah. So there I am the opposite of an AP, as in I am a PA.
Yes.
So a production assistant. Ryan Zayax is a AP.
Yes.
Shout out Ryan Zayax. So what I do is I primarily edit. Occasionally I go on a shoot for the school for events. That is where we just kind of record various people having fun, whatever the event is, and then it's edited together in a montage called a Quinnipiac Minute.
Yes.
But primarily what I primarily edit is the Cue Cart Trivia series, where I think it's a very much ongoing series on definitely the YouTube where most of my stuff has been posted, where it's just like what's the show called, Cash Cab?
I don't know.
They're in the cart, they're in the Cue Cart. Yeah. If they're like out on the quad and they get picked up and they're being driven to their destination, but they have to answer trivia questions, and if they get one wrong, they get thrown off, and if they get them all right, they go to their destination. Woohoo. Yeah, and that's kind of been what I have been doing there thus far.
Yeah, and I will say, like, your Cue Cart editing, it's top notch.
And seeing it,
and you have such a great voice with it too, because whenever I see them, just like watching them, like on our Quinnipiac YouTube, I can just tell it's you, because there's a WWE reference, pop culture reference, like say that again, or Miles Morales' Spider-Man saying hey. Yep. Like I always notice it's you, and you have that very distinct voice. And kind of like, how do you find your voice, so to speak, as an editor in something that you didn't film, you aren't like physically in, but to like put your own stamp on it?
Yeah. So I have been asked this question before at work by people. And the answer is that genuinely I kind of don't know, because they're just like, so how does your mind work? And I just like, I don't know. I just kind of like do it, which I think that's a good way to say it. I just kind of like, when it comes to editing something like Cue Cart and other projects I've done, I kind of just do it, I guess. And as it goes on, kind of think, okay, here they say this, that makes me think this. Will a lot of people get this? Probably not. But one people will be like, was that just Kurt Angle coming across the screen? And I'll be like, yeah, that's Kurt Angle. Yeah, it's a lot of watching the footage, obviously, because I get the footage all one take, all raw most of the time. Occasionally, it's an unfinished project, but most of the time I'm starting from scratch. And I just kind of take that footage, I cut out all the dead air, basically. I add the mandatory graphics that we have to add. And from there on, I just kind of like try to make it as engaging as possible for social media, because I know like how social media is. I know like how people say attention spans have shortened, so I try to make it very poppy. A lot of instead of cuts, I do a lot of zooms and like pans and as you said, pop culture references and just like sound effects.
Yeah, because you and the other PAs who work on Cue Carts, and obviously, like you mentioned, it's a big hit. And I think it's really those effects, I feel like, that bring it, because of course it's fun and it's funny just to watch it, but with the effects, like the timers and all these like pop-ups and how fast you edit it, that's really what makes it, I feel, because like without that, it would be something that probably a lot of people just scroll past, like you said, because you kind of have to, something I've been learning is just to like earn every kind of 5 seconds you have. And also, you're not just an editor, you're also going out and filming things as well. Like how do you enjoy that?
I enjoy it. I am kind of like shy when it comes to that, because it is a lot of people I don't know a lot of the time.
Yeah.
But obviously you're wearing, we have little badges that I love flashing because I feel like an FBI agent.
Exactly, yeah.
It's eventually when you're there long enough, you start getting in the groove of everything. You start being more comfortable with, hey, can you pose for a few more seconds and just like smile at the camera and be like, woo, hockey.
Yeah.
And also it's usually we're at events that have a lot of crowds, so it's not difficult to get reactions on people's faces of people just like dancing or smiling or having a fun time at whatever the event is.
Yeah.
So it's something for me to get over, the shyness part. Eventually you get into the groove of everything, and they're really fun most of the time.
Yeah, and this brings back a work core memory of when you and I were working a Quinnipiac hockey game, which of course is a massive thing, and us, and also former Zicast guest Johan Karilla.
Johan was on the Zicast?
He was on the Zicast,
oh my
yes.
God.
Yeah, episode 70.
Ooh, okay.
And so, the three of us, we were walking around collecting footage of just Quinnipiac students, and I had a whiteboard which you wrote cheer now, but
period.
you put period after cheer, so cheer period now, and I was walking around putting it up above yours or Johan's head, who would be operating the camera, and then the students would ooh. And that was just like such a cool experience because that was my first ever Quinnipiac hockey game. I think it was same for you, and for us to kind of get to be at a Quinnipiac hockey game, which is like the big iconic thing here, but also be working. I think it was like double cool.
Yeah.
And then we had, like you mentioned, like the badges, like when former Zicast guest and I, Mila, Terry, were walking in, I just like had my coat on, I just like flash my badge, and then they let us in.
Yeah, I know. I really liked doing that. And then we get our own badges where they spelled my name, Alexander Beane. Yeah. Like Batman.
Exactly.
That was really fun. It was also my first hockey game. I didn't own any Quinnipiac merch that I like wear out in public.
Me neither.
Yeah, like I mostly like wear like t-shirts to sleep in.
Yeah.
So my mom was up like a few days before and was like, "Oh, you need like a sweatshirt or something." So now I have a zip-up sweatshirt of Quinnipiac that I got specifically for that shoot and for that game.
That's so smart because I just went there dressed like Dexter with like the if anybody sees like the gray shirt and the dress pants on, and Alexander Beane. I was born a bobcat.
Raw. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, I was born in the darkness. Yeah. So I was Alexander Beane. So like that was such a great experience, and it's like that's some of the cool things about our job is that we could be at these big Quinnipiac events, but we're special and cool because we have these badges on.
I feel so special and cool.
I know, and then like you're getting like interviews with people, you're filming people, and it's great like filmmaking experience because of course you get to do your editing, but you also get to do your filmmaking, and then it's stuff that you could tell people you did, you could tell future employers you did, and we're kind of talking about you as a filmmaker and an editor. I'd like to ask you what you would say your style is as a filmmaker and editor, or what you want to say.
Yeah. Well, when it comes to the editing aspect, I think the just kind of throwing stuff at it is a good way to put it. Obviously, that's not for every project. That's more for like the cue cart aspect.
Yeah.
But as an editor, I've kind of realized that I think it's kind of like music video-y.
Yeah.
Like I try to like look at it as like beats and cut it on beats. Where for emotion, I forget. There's like the 6 rules of editing. I forget where emotion falls on it. That's maybe like 3. But it's a lot of like what feels the most natural. Where are the good beats? So this feels like a spaced out very evenly, not too punchy, but punchy enough.
Yeah.
And a filmmaking in general, something from my capstone that I learned was just kind of how beneficial it is to be collaborative with everyone there, because yes, I am directing. Yes, that is kind of viewed as the highest position, just from like a on paper standpoint. But everyone there was kind of like, hey, what if we do this shot from a lower angle? Or can we get another take of this shot just so I have more to work with in post? And I was just like, yeah, let's just like go for it. And some of those shots end up being the best shots. Yeah, so collaboration, working together well with people you know, because I also had the benefit of working with a lot of my close friends here. So that kind of just led vibes.
Yeah,
very good vibes. I think it's just like vibes is a good word to put my filmmaking style in general, because like the editing, it's just like whatever feels right. On set, it's whatever everyone is kind of the idea feels right. I don't know if that sentence made sense, but I think it's just kind of just seeing how it flows together with everyone, and just for myself.
Yeah, and that brings back another core memory, which is I got to be a production assistant on your Capstone Out of Focus one day. But I very much agree that it was a great vibes experience, kind of being there, getting to see you guys work on your last day of shooting. So if you don't mind, like, telling us kind of about your Capstone and kind of what the filming process of that was like.
Yeah. Well, let me just say that last day of shooting was the day at the time of filming. I don't know what's happened. It was the day that John Cena turned heel.
It was a day that changed my life.
It was a day that changed your life, because I remember just going on my phone very quickly to just see if I had missed anything in between takes. And then I see that, and I am trying not to freak out, because the only person I can tell this about it that cares is Ryan Zayek. So Capstone, it went very well, I'd say. It was stressful leading up to it, because I had never directed such like a large project. Oh, should I explain what capstones are?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Or capstones for film.
Yeah, capstones for film are our senior theses. Are just, you get into a group, or you can do an individual screenwriting one. I'm not exactly sure the details of that. But what I did is, you get into a group with I think minimum 5. Our group had 7 people.
Yeah.
And you do pre-production for a short film. You write or choose a script from a pool, and you just audition. You get actors. You find the look of it all. You production design. You schedule. You time everything out, and then you go and film it for a week. At least, I think like a week is the norm. You film it for a week, sometime in the second semester, once all the post-production is done, and then you have a finished enough edit for a showcase at the end of the semester with all of the other short films from all the other groups.
Yeah. And you were there out of focus, and you were directing your project, which you also wrote.
Yes. I forgot that I was explaining that part, because I got lost in the capstone aspect. Yeah. So I wrote it over the summer, because I had another script from freshman year that I really liked, that I sent to some of the staff here. And they were like, this probably wouldn't work. And looking back at it, it wouldn't have worked. That would have been so hard to film.
Yeah.
And also the script ended up just being Challengers, but with 2 people. And so, like, I thought Challengers first. Shout out myself.
Yeah.
So I wrote it over the summer. It's about this woman moving out of her childhood home, and she finds her old phone from high school, and the old phones from high school send her back in time. And and I already kind of had a group of people that I kind of knew I was working with, that I could get feedback from. And kind of work around that over the summer, and just kind of finish, I guess, fine-tuning the script. We were able to lock the script relatively early. It was like late October where we script locked. And and after that is the directing part, which is the part I was the most stressed for, because as I said and then forgot to elaborate on, I had never directed something that large scale, because part of Capstone is you fundraise a varied sum amount of money, and our group's budget was around $13,000. So it was a lot, because it was people I know and people's families and my family who had donated that money. So I just felt like, okay, I don't know if I'll be able to translate it well enough, and a lot of people are like putting their faith in it. But it was the collaborative environment of everyone, and especially during the weeks before I got very confident, or I got more confident, not very confident. I got more confident leading up to it, because I was surrounded by so many people I trust, and so many PAs that helped us film I trust, including you, Ryan Zayek. Shout out Ryan Zayek once again. So the process went smoother than I anticipated. Like, everyone was getting along. It went well.
Yeah. And I'll always remember, of course, my childhood hero turning heel when I was there.
Yes.
But also kind of a lot of the also how cool the house was. It was like the perfect movie house.
It was it was like kind of on a whim we got that house also, because we had a few in mind that were more in the area of the school. Yeah. But stuff kept falling through, or we didn't like the area, or we didn't like the house at the end of the day we found. And then Sean Vulukovic, who has been mentioned before, found this house. It's like, oh, this is like a really nice house. Let's like not look at it that much and just like contact them right away, because we really need a location. It was like close, relatively very close before filming. And then everything just kind of came together really well, and it was like a perfect house. Yeah. It had like the perfect bedroom for the bedroom scenes. It had a garage right next to the front door. Yeah. So it was a perfect in and out, because we filmed a lot in the garage. It just kind of had like it had a very good layout where you could kind of just you could just really order everything in like the perfect way. Yeah. Like right to left of this house. So that was another aspect that fell together very well, because it was something we were stressed about, and then the house just kind of like fell into us. Yeah. And also something that also stands out was a lot of like the inventive ways, or at least inventive from my perception, inventive shots you guys had. Like you had these like those like what would you call it, the crane shot? The rig.
Yeah,
the rig that Aaron Epstein, our director of photography, love Aaron Epstein. Which episode was he on?
He was episode 6.
Episode 6, guest Aaron Epstein. He wore this rig that we would say made him look like Tom Cruise in Edge of Tomorrow. Yes. And we would keep going, find me when you wake up, because we all almost unanimously loved that movie on set. And that was a lot on him. He would talk about like how sore he was at the end of the day. Yeah. But the shots came out very well, and he did a very good job. Yeah. And another one that you had, if you don't mind me spoiling it, where the camera, where it's when she's going back in time, your lead actress or the character, and they're like shaking the camera, and in order to show going back in time, you take off the lens. So I've never seen something like that. I think that might have been our Capstone advisor, Ash Brandon's idea. Yeah. The shaking part was like always like that was written into the script. It was always gonna shake, but then the actual taking off of the lens aspect was very cool, because it like kind of had like a manual way to fade to white. Yeah. And it was very cool. It looks like you were being like physically sucked out of it, because it was in camera and not something done in post. Yeah. And for those who are watching, when it wins the Palme d'Or, I was the one holding the camera while Aaron Epstein took it off. Yes, he did. Shout out Ryan Zayas for the third time. Yeah. And that was so cool, because we were filming like in those like bedroom scenes, so we're just like constantly moving around, and overall like that was so cool, such a cool experience, just being on that film and seeing you work as a director, and then seeing you guys be able to make something so cool. But I brought up Cannes, so film festival. I want to bring up another film festival, a Sundance Film Festival, which you've been to. Close. But you've been there 3 times. Yes, I have. So if you don't mind telling us about some of your experiences at Sundance, and like any of your favorite memories from going. Of course. So yeah, I've been 3 times. As Ryan Zags said, I have gone through the Quinnipiac Film Society. Yes. Another hashtag ad, where they are the film club here on campus. And once a year, there's a group of maybe a bit over 20 of us, and we go to the Sundance Film Festival. And we went this year as a member of eBoard, because I'm currently, at the time of filming, definitely not at the time of release, the director of promotions, where I like just basically run the Instagram. Yes. I have been 3 times. And some of my favorite memories, meeting people. And as people, I mean like friends, not like celebrities. We'll get into celebrities later. Oh, yes. But like people in general, like a lot of my current closest friends, I knew before Sundance, more like knew of, but I didn't become friends with them until Sundance officially, I'd say. It just, Park City is just a very beautiful area. And what should I say? I don't want to just jump right into celebrities. Because I know you saw the world premiere of Past Lives. There you go. Songs yes. Why am I not talking about the movies? You watch a lot of movies when you're there. Yes. And a lot of the times you get lucky enough to go to the premiere of a lot of these movies that could end up being very successful later. And the very first movie I saw at Sundance, my freshman year, the first time I went, was it was the premiere for Past Lives.
Yes.
Celine Song's Past Lives. Shout out Celine Songs.
Yeah.
She has a new movie coming out called The Materialists. I don't know if this will be out by then, but it looks really good, and I will be there day one.
Yes.
But yeah, it's ended up being nominated for Best Picture, and I believe a Best Original Screenplay nomination as well. If I had control, it would have won, but I knew it wouldn't. But yeah, that was my favorite movie I've seen at Sundance, which is insane because it's the first movie I ever saw at Sundance.
Yeah.
And it was just such like an insane experience because obviously you're seeing all these movies very early relatively. But when it's a movie like Past Lives where you're just amazed every time it cuts to a different shot.
Yeah.
And it was just like I get to say I was at the premiere of a Best Picture nominated movie.
Yeah.
Every single time I've been to Sundance since, on at least the plane there or back, I've watched Past Lives on the plane.
Yeah.
It's just a really great movie. I loved that.
Yeah. You gotta set your standards high.
The standards were very high, and since then there have been a lot of really great movies I've seen. There, like Theater Camp.
Yeah.
What is he last year?
Well, you had your viral Letterboxd.
Oh yes,
from My Old Ass.
I did want to talk to that. I did want to talk about that. I had that prepped in my head, but I forgot it. Yeah. So there was a movie last year at Sundance called My Old Ass, directed by Megan Park, I believe is her name.
Yes.
Great movie. I think it was
Aubrey Plaza's
in it. I believe it was my favorite movie I saw at Sundance that year. I was at the premiere, and that's when the whole cast comes up at the end and talks about the movie, answers questions, funny stories from behind the scenes. And after the movie, I write a Letterboxd review, 5 stars. The review was just like, oh, they made a perfect movie, cool. And I go to sleep that night, and I wake up with a comment on my Letterboxd review saying, Maisie posted this with a star emoji. Maisie Stella, the lead actress of My Old Ass, just like posted a screenshot of my review in a photo dump on her Instagram story. And I put it on my Snapchat story, and Michael Rada, former guest Michael Rada, former Zicast veteran Michael Rada. He was like, oh, I thought she just like posted a bunch of screenshots of various Letterboxd reviews, but no, it's just like a photo dump of her at the premiere of My Old Ass, and at the end it's just my review. And that's still so cool. And since then there have been like also my review I did for A Different Man has a lot of likes, starring Sebastian Stan. It's very cool because you get some level of notoriety when you go to these festivals and are seeing these movies early. And I guess now that we're on the topic of celebrities, you run into a lot of celebrities. I'm also shy in that regard, just because I try to like, celebrities are also people.
Yes.
I don't want to like disrupt their lives, even though they'd probably expect it. It's like a big festival like this, but obviously there are exceptions. Like this year, one of my favorite actors is Stephen Yeun.
Yes.
He had a film at Sundance, and I was like, oh my God, is he going to be there? And he was there. And we went to a panel that he had with Olivia Colman, who's also, I love Olivia Colman. But after we tried to get into the panel, we were unsuccessful getting into the panel. We were put into a room next to the panel room where they closed the doors and made us watch it on like a really tiny TV from across the room. But you could peek through like a crack in the door and kind of get a view of them. But on the after the panel, we were just standing outside talking because we did briefly see Stephen Yeun enter. And we were like, maybe there's a chance. So we were waiting outside, and then he was leaving. We were like, oh my God, that's him. And I thought I would just like see him and just like be able to go, oh, Stephen Yeun, whoa. But Michael Flynn. Episode what?
I believe he's episode 37.
Episode 37, veteran Michael Flynn. He was just like, hey, can we get a photo real quick? And I fully expected him to just not. He was just like, because he looked like he was going somewhere. So I thought he would just be like, oh, no, I'm sorry. And just be nice about it. He seems very nice. But he actually stopped and posed for a photo with Michael Flynn. And I was like, oh my God, I'm running there right now. And I ran right up to Michael Flynn. I was like, oh, one more second. And I poked my head in. And there's a photo of me. It's on my Instagram. Me and Stephen Yeun, we're best friends now. And that was really surreal. There was also freshman year. Did Michael Rada talk about Joseph Gordon-Levitt when he was on?
He did, yes. But you can bring it up again.
Okay, so freshman year, we were waiting outside of this shop on Main Street, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt had a movie at that festival called Flora and Son, also a great movie. And I guess to like kind of cover himself, he was wearing like a beanie and a mask.
Yeah.
But he also posted a lot of photos on Instagram of him wearing said beanie and a mask. So Mike Orada, he was just walking down the street, and Mike Orada was able to just clock it and go, Joseph Gordon-Levitt. And he was just like, no. And Mike Orada was like, no, it's you. You're Joseph Gordon-Levitt. And he was just like, all right. He was like, oh, I know it's you. Can I get a photo? And he was like, I have to go somewhere. But it was him.
Yeah.
And that was really funny, for one thing.
Yeah.
Let's see, what else was there celebrity-wise? We met Io Adebari this year. Got a photo with her. A lot of people got a lot of photos with everyone that I'm like kind of really jealous of.
Yeah.
Like some people met Rachel Sennett. I love Rachel Sennett.
Yeah, like we have
and Rhett and Link. Oh my god.
Yeah, but like we have a group chat, and it would just be flooded with all people just seeing celebrities, all their friends. It was like a competition.
It was like a competition. It very much was a competition.
Yeah.
Me and Michael Rada, while we were on Main Street, this was like one of my favorite experiences because it didn't lead to a photo. It was just us expressing our gratitude to an actor. We saw Josh O'Connor.
Yeah.
From
Challengers.
From Challengers.
Yeah.
I love Challengers. That was my favorite movie last year. And he had a movie there. I didn't get to see it.
Yeah.
But he had a movie there. He was walking around Main Street, and we were just kind of walking behind him. And we didn't realize it, but eventually we were like, that's Josh O'Connor.
Yeah.
Is that Josh O'Connor? That's Josh O'Connor. And then he was turning, we were like, what should we do?
Yeah.
And then he was turning the corner, going on a different part of the street, and we're just like, okay, this is like our one chance. So we just kind of shouted by a bit away. We're just like, Josh O'Connor, you're great, man. We love you. And he just had like a really big smile on his face and was like, hey. And then kept walking. And I think it was just because it didn't lead to a photo, so we didn't like disrupt whatever he was doing that day or disrupt the conversation. It was just him being like, oh, thanks, man. And he seemed very happy about it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're watching this, Josh O'Connor, but I hope you were happy about it. But yeah, that was a very cool experience also. And yeah, also at all of these movies you're at, the cast comes on stage after.
Yeah.
And if you're lucky enough, depending on how early you get there, we got there early very frequently.
Yes.
You would get very good seats close to the stage. So you would get very good views of Pedro Pascal, Benedict Cumberbatch, Molly Gordon, who I was very excited to see and did see her. So yeah, it's just a very cool experience. It's team building. It's making friends with all these people here while also making all these memories of being at this huge festival.
Yeah, and I'm excited to have more memories like this at the Cannes Film Festival.
Will this be posted by the time we're there?
This will be posted. Yeah, it'll be after.
It'll be after. I hope we had a good time.
Yeah, I'm hoping we did too.
Yeah.
And that'll be hopefully a different kind of film festival experience, but still really, really fun. But now, were you going to say something?
I was going to say, I think Josh O'Connor has a movie that will be there.
Yeah.
So Josh O'Connor. Hi.
For the second time.
Josh O'Connor. Too. Yep.
But you brought up earlier about John Cena turning heel and it rocking my world.
Yes, it did.
So now we're getting into the top question here, what I've been most excited to talk about, your WWE fandom. So to kind of take us into kind of where that stems from and kind of what you enjoy about WWE.
The people have been clamoring.
Yes.
Over 100 million fans submitted this question.
Millions.
Yeah. I really love that this is a question because I really love that this is part of my personality again.
Yes.
So WWE, huge WWE fan in elementary school. I got into it end of first grade. I don't remember why it was the end of first grade, but it was towards the end of first grade.
Yeah.
I started getting into it, and then second grade through fifth grade, that was my whole niche.
Yes.
Like I've had a lot of small micro-fixation, that's the word.
Yeah.
A lot of micro-fixations throughout my life, but WWE has very much had the most impact, and it was a very, very large fixation through elementary school.
Yeah.
That was like my whole thing. I went as John Cena for Halloween many times. I went as Dean Ambrose for Halloween one year. One year, me and my friend Alex Beane, who I'm referencing again, I went as like current John Cena. Yeah. And that was after he had beaten The Rock at WrestleMania 29. So he had that shirt that said "The Champ is Here," pointing down to that current version of the WWE belt. And so I was current John Cena, but he was retro John Cena, like Thugonomics John Cena. And I was like, oh, but what if I wanted to be that version of John Cena? But my mom was like, no one will get that.
Yeah.
So I was current John Cena, and he was Thugonomics John Cena, and I got it, which was very cool.
Yeah.
And then the year I was Dean Ambrose, he was Undertaker, but like the old Undertaker with like the purple gloves.
Oh, okay. That's sick.
Yeah. So it was very much my interest. I would talk about it all the time. I remember one time explaining to my second grade teacher how Mark Henry and Big Show broke the ring at Vengeance 2011.
Was it like physics class?
No, it wasn't even physics class. They were just like talking about like sports.
Yeah.
Or like very big things that were happening in the news, and I was just like, you didn't see Vengeance.
Yes.
They broke the ring, and that's insane every time they do it. So yeah, that was my very big thing, elementary school. I went to WrestleMania 29 in 2013, since it was at MetLife Stadium, which is not too far from where I live.
Yeah.
We also went to WrestleMania Access, maybe the day before.
Awesome. Yeah.
And I did get to meet John Cena.
Yes.
So there's it's kind of very low pixelated now, but it is a photo of third grade me and fifth grade my brother, sixth grade my brother.
Yeah.
Just standing there with John Cena, and he signed a shirt, and I have that shirt framed in like one of those shirt frames that are shaped like the shirt. I said shirt a lot in that sentence.
Yeah.
And also I just randomly found like a booklet for WrestleMania 29 that he had also signed, so I have that next to it. And yeah, it's a thing that it's really cool, and I flex that sometimes. I'm just like, I have a photo with John Cena.
Yeah, it's so cool. And that photo was you, your brother, in the shirt, just only that.
Yeah, and
you should pick up on the joke. You can't see John Cena.
I thought you were talking about the shirt he signed, but now I get it. Thank you, Brian.
It's a butt of a stupid invisible joke for 15 years.
And then I went to an episode of SmackDown a bit before WrestleMania 28 because they had the big sign up that they always have.
Yeah.
I went to No Way Out 2012, I think. That was when John Laurinaitis got fired.
Yes, I remember that whole story.
In kayfabe.
Yes.
And the last WWE thing I've been currently, I don't know if this will change over the summer, or I hope this doesn't age well, what I'm about to say, but the last thing I went to was SummerSlam 2015. That was Undertaker and Brock Lesnar main evented. John Cena lost the U.S. title. Yeah, it was because of Jon Stewart. Hit him with a chair, and then Seth Rollins won. Why did that happen, Jon Stewart? But Seth Rollins was very good in that match. Then after that, it kind of waned away because in middle school, all the stuff you like is now, for some reason, lame and uncool. And for some reason, you're just like so annoying. It's like, I don't like that anymore. For audio listeners, I just made like a stink face twice. That just like began to like wane away, and my family, we still watched most WrestleManias. We didn't watch every WrestleMania. We watched the Royal Rumble every year because the Royal Rumble is the best thing that WWE does, and I look forward to that every year. That was I still kind of followed it, but not really, throughout middle school through high school, and then freshman year of college. Apologies. Freshman year of college, I just started getting back into it again. I think it was because of the Bloodline storyline. And kind of just like being very entranced by that, because I think a lot of people got into current WWE because of the Bloodline. And I remember watching the Royal Rumble that year, and it was like when Sammy turned on Roman. And it had like the huge crowd reaction. I was like, they're back. They're so back. And it was aspects like that. It was also just like the product was starting to like improve like a lot for general audiences, and you also had like wrestlers that I really like LA Knight, and I would always see clips of him like being so good on the mic as he always is, and I was be like, this guy's a good dude. And a lot of people I really liked were still around, like Sami Zayn, and then CM Punk comes back, and it's just like and I consistently follow it now still.
My experience is similar with like a lot of like you said, like micro fixations, like you're really into it and then you're not, and you get back into it for one reason or another and then you're not, and it's kind of that jumping back and forth. And
I know way too much stuff now because of that.
Me too.
Michael Rada says that I know too much stuff, or I like too much stuff, and I think I like too much stuff.
And like it's always a flex, like knowing the lore of wrestling. Like I've always been like I'm kind of getting out of my WWE fan closet. Like I'm like more openly WWE fan, but I definitely agree with what you said, is that kind of like the Bloodline post John Cena being big kind of took the company forwards now into like the Cody era, but the presentation like cinematically of WWE is top notch. The talent is just top notch. And you bring up the Bloodline. Our boss Peter Galley tells me that I have a heel beard, so I look like a heel.
I see it.
and I was thinking that if you took Liam and I and combined us, we would make Roman Reigns.
There's Liam.
No, there's Liam. He's got the hair.
He's got the hair.
Do we? Is it just the combination? Also, guys, I'm not crying. I just sneezed, so that's why my eyes are a little red.
He's tears of joy. He's flattered.
Yeah. Is it like the beard and the hair? Is that the combo?
The beard and the hair.
It's the beard and hair combo. I think it would you would get something very close to Roman Reigns.
What was the term you were using for yourself?
Oh, I was the. Thank you, Alex. Yep. I was the Zibal Chief.
The Zibal Chief. I acknowledge you, my Zibal Chief.
Thank you. Yes, you're an honorary oos.
Oh, I'm Sammy. Oh, I love Sammy.
You're Sammy, with the Zibal Chief. But that leads us into something I need to ask you. If you could be hit with one WWE finisher, what would it be?
I thought of this earlier today because you also asked me earlier today.
Yes.
So obviously I thought of it earlier today. But I want to be kind of unique with it because everyone's always like RKO or like GTS. But how actively do you follow NXT right now?
Not crazy much, so you might have to explain this.
Yeah, so there's this wrestler in NXT right now. Her name is Sorbero.
Okay.
She has this finisher called the Soul Snatcher.
Okay.
It's so cool. It's basically she jumps up on the ropes and flips herself off of the ropes.
Okay.
And then grabs someone and kind of puts them in a kind of RKO kind of thing.
Yeah.
So she kind of just hoists herself off the ropes, does a flip, and then RKOs them, and it looks so cool every time she does it. I only see it in Instagram clips because I know there's many easy ways you can set up how to watch cable on campus, but I don't for some reason.
Yes.
So I only watch it through Instagram Reels, and every time it's just so cool. So the Soul Snatcher.
It's funny because you bring up the RKO being basic. That or the stunner would be my answer, but I also feel like they're easier to sell.
Yeah.
And they're so iconic. I remember that time when Randy Orton RKO'd KSI in front of Logan Paul, and I was telling people my KSI just lived my dream getting RKO'd. But I always think of, you remember that WrestleMania when Stone Cold hit Austin Theory with the stunner?
Yeah, and he went flying.
And he just went flying.
People talk about that one frequently, but he hit one on Pat McAfee that same time, and no one talks about that one. I loved that one.
When the beer's just popping out of his mouth.
Because he had a mouthful of beer, and he cartoonishly spat it out and just fell backwards, and no one talks about that, but it was so good. Yeah,
and I feel like those are just so I guess at least they look easy to sell or easier because they're typically hit on people. So I feel like if I could be hit with one, it'd be that, and it also looks less dangerous as well to have those hit on you. So those are those would be the ones I would go to. So I feel like we learn a lot about you and your wrestling fandom. So how about we continue that, and you tell us some things people might not know about you, like fun facts.
Some things people might not know about me. So I have 53 toes on one foot.
Oh.
No, I'm just kidding. It's across both feet. No. I don't know. I just like a lot of stuff. That's something. I don't know what I'm doing with my hand right now. I just like a lot of stuff. This was one of the questions that you asked me beforehand that I couldn't formulate that good of an answer to because it's just what do people not know about me? I feel like people wouldn't know the WWE part.
Yeah.
But I kind of make that apparent sometimes. I wear shirts and I talk about it. I like a lot of stuff. I really like movies. Obviously, I'm a film major.
Yeah.
I like a lot of TV shows because they're TV shows. I really like music. That's been something I've been into very much recently because Spotify, whenever I use Spotify, I just try to find new artists and new songs all the time more than listening to the stuff I like. So I'm just always finding a lot of kind of really smaller artists in a way that I really like because I really like my music taste. It's my music taste, but I have no one to talk about it with.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Beths, they're my favorite band.
Yeah.
I discovered them from doing that, just kind of random listening to songs on Spotify, and I discovered them. They're my favorite band currently, and I saw them in concert back in September. But I don't know anyone that also listens to the Beths.
Interesting.
So I had to make Sean Vukovic and Michael Rada. I didn't have to make them. They were willing, obviously, but they went with me to the concert. And I had a great time. I got a shirt. I got a record, signed record. And I also own a record player now. I got for Christmas.
Oh, really?
I now collect records. It's just...
That's sick.
I hope that lasts a while. Hope that's not a phase because I very much enjoy that because every Christmas there seems to be whatever phase I'm going through. I want that.
Yeah.
But I very much hope that stays. I have a lot of records. I ordered one on Amazon yesterday. I listened to one today. I think it was the Sundays, reading, writing, and arithmetic.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, so just recently I've been, not more recently, there's been build up, but recently I've been more outgoing with how much I just like music.
Yeah.
And I had something to add, but I lost it. Yeah, that's been something recently that I hope isn't a hyperfixation. I hope it stays part of me because I think records are very cool. What else? I like video games. I don't know. Do you have any specific questions that could lean me in different areas to this question?
I think the record player, because I didn't know that. Mm-hmm. I think that's a cool hobby to have. And something that could follow you, because that's like an old soul activity. Yeah. So I feel like that could age well with you.
Yeah, I hope it does, because I think it's very cool. I think they're very cool, the records, obviously. I have a crate under my bed.
Yeah.
And I have the record player right next to my bed. Yeah. And I've just been listening to a lot of them. I have like 3 Paramore albums. I have all 3 Guardians of the Galaxy soundtracks. That's something. That's a fun fact. Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Yeah.
I have seen that movie documented 28 times.
Wow.
But probably more than 28 times. Yeah. That movie I can say I can quote from heart, but then you actually watch it with me and I can just kind of quote it mostly from heart.
Yeah, wow.
So I have Guardians of the Galaxy. But it's just like, what am I in the mood for?
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, I'll throw on the Pixies because I have the Pixies.
Yeah.
And I'm also like discovering a lot more because I'm buying a lot of albums just based off of one song I like.
Yeah.
Like I bought the Pixies album Doolittle, I believe it's called.
Yeah.
Because I really like the song Hey, because it was in The Suicide Squad, which I love that movie. You know that shot of them walking through the rain?
Yeah.
Yeah, it plays over that part. And I was like, oh, they have that song on vinyl. I'll get it. And then figure out if I like the Pixies. And I do like the Pixies. And the Cranberries, that album has Dreams and it has Linger, both songs that I love. So I got the album, and I love the whole album.
Yeah.
And the Sundays, they have a song called Here's Where the Story Ends that I love.
Yeah.
And then I got the album. And so now it's just like, oh, the Sundays are like so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and... No,
you can continue. I don't want to.
I'm just gonna like ramble about like music now, so you can keep going.
Okay, so you love Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Yes.
So tell me one thing you love and one thing you strongly dislike.
In general, about Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
In general.
Okay. I love Guardians of the Galaxy 2. No. Well, yes, but I'll try to think of something else. Yeah. Something I dislike. I tried to like genuinely think about a strong answer for this. Like, I hate liars, which like obviously I do, but the only things I can think of is just like I hate when people walk on escalators. Like, I understand that if you walk on escalators you'll go faster, but they're moving.
Yeah,
they're doing their job.
They're doing too much.
They're doing their job. You're doing too much, man. Let them be. So yeah, just like aspects like that is like all I could think of. Just like pet peeves.
Yeah. I mean, pet peeves are good for people. Have given pet peeves all the time for some ways, like.
So it's like stuff like that. I don't like it when right before, when someone's just like, oh, I made my grandma's world famous blank, because it's not world famous. I would have heard of it if it was world famous. I don't know your grandma. Actually, never heard of it before. You look stupid. I don't know. I could only think of pet peeves when answering that question. So there's not going to be like any Instagram clip of me being like, I hate bullies, even though, I do, but people walk on escalators, that frazzles me.
Yeah.
Stuff I really like, as I said, stuff.
Yeah.
I really like collecting and just learning new interests about stuff that I'm only kind of interested in, like the music aspect and just repping a lot of stuff that I really like. I like having posters all over my room. I have the flag of Greendale Community College hanging over my bed from Community.
Yeah.
What else? It would get to the point where I would like see something really cool at Target and my mom would be like, you don't need that. You don't need the keys from Ready Player One.
Yeah.
But I still got the keys from Ready Player One. This was in like middle school. I was like obsessed with that movie and book. Not so anymore, but I still have the keys.
Yeah.
I just like a lot of stuff. I like learning more about what I like. Particularly a lot of movies, a lot of music as well, just like I guess media in general.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's one of the cool things about always going over your guys' suite, whether it was last year and now this year.
Or last night.
Yeah. It's always decorated very well. And like that's something like my room, it looks like no one even lives there. But you guys always add in so many like personal touches that like makes your room like very lively.
Yeah, that's something I try to very much make sure is apparent because I like my spaces feeling lived in. I like customization.
Yeah.
In our dorm room this year and last year, we have a tapestry of Nicole Kidman.
Yes.
From the AMC theaters. We come to this place for magic.
Yes.
Vignette. And it's just that shot where like the projector's behind her and we have that on the flag. And it's really, I still think it's really funny. But I really like, I guess one of the perks of college is I really like being able to like customize everything that I own and just like throwing posters everywhere and like maybe like this little Groot knickknack I can throw on my desk here, and I have like stuff on my windowsill and stuff on top of my wardrobe. Like I have a Money in the Bank briefcase, and an Intercontinental Championship, and a yellow belt that I got from a Taekwondo class I took last semester. I really like media. I like stuff. I like media, and I dislike pet peeves that I have.
Yes. And kind of to move us onwards, I'd like to ask you, what are some of your hopes and dreams professionally or in general?
Seeing Paramore in concert.
Yes.
Yes. That was the first thing I thought of when I read that you were going to ask this question.
Ain't it fun?
I really want to see Paramore in concert. My favorite album of all time is the Riot album, which I think is kind of basic, but it's such a good album. Yeah. I have it on record. It's like the 20-year anniversary edition, so it's like silver, and I listen to it all the time, and I love it. And I follow Paramore and like how they're doing, and it's like, I'm not the biggest Taylor Swift guy, but they opened for Taylor Swift throughout like her European tour throughout the summer, and I was like, I would so go to that concert just for Paramore, because I saw a clip of them singing what was the song? That's What You Get. It's my favorite Paramore song. It's in the Riot album, and I recognized that they were just singing that at the Aerostar. I was like, oh my god, if I knew that, I would have gone when my brother's girlfriend went 16 times.
Yes.
So yeah, I really want to see Paramore in concert. But professionally, I just want to like make stuff with my friends on a professional level.
Yeah.
Like a big influence of mine, I'd say, in like my sense of humor and how I talk to people and learn to understand people has been Smosh.
Yes.
The YouTube channel. I watched them a lot in middle school and high school, and I still watch them a lot. But like, I a lot of that sense of humor I noticed rubs off on me. Yeah. And that's kind of translated into just really wanting to kind of be collaborative, because a lot of their stuff is just guys hanging out, and even when it's scripted, you can tell they're hanging out. Yeah. And that they like being there. And I just want, on a professional level, I don't care how high the budget is. I don't care how like seen it is by the people, but on a professional, out of school level, to just like make something that I'm passionate about with my friends, which people do. Like James Gunn does that all the time. Yeah. So I think that's my goal professionally. Also just to like my job in the future. Yeah. Like I like my job currently, but obviously I work for the university. I'm only at the university for so long. Yeah, exactly. Because I am 3+1 going into my +1. I did not mention that at the beginning. Yes. So, and it's like, I really like, I don't know if I'll do something in like social media design. Yeah. Because I've learned a lot about that both through QProd and doing stuff for clubs and doing stuff for classes, because I've taken a lot of like social media based classes that I found very interesting, because I'm an advertising minor. Yes. And I don't care if that's just like writing small things for like a TV spot or editing a TV spot. Yeah. Because a lot of people in the industry that I look up to started out editing TV spots. Yeah. And I don't know, the dream is obviously to be like a director and writer and everything. Yeah. Or whatever path I flow towards in the future. Yeah. And just kind of making enough of a name for myself, I'd say. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the dream. Like you said, making things with your friends, making things with people you love. But of course, you brought up James Gunn.
Hell yeah, I brought up James Gunn.
That, and is of course a great influence for you. So how about you tell us some of your favorite movies?
Some of my favorite movies, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, if you haven't noticed.
Yes.
My favorite movie is Rushmore. Wes Anderson. He's one of my favorite directors as well. It's one of his earlier movies, which I prefer to his current movies because a lot of his current movies, like there is an argument about him being more style than substance.
Yeah.
But now I think he's more style than substance. Even though I love his movies, it's just like, what the hell happened in Asteroid City? Yeah. Even though I really liked Asteroid City. But Rushmore, it has his personality, it has his style, but it is very much about these characters. And it's also the kind of story that I really like, the kind of story where it's just a guy who's just kind of an ass.
Yeah.
But he's not, by the end of the movie, he's not like this perfect person.
Yeah.
It's more so he's just like decent.
Yeah.
He's just a likable guy now. And it might have taken way too much for him to realize that, but he realizes that now and he's on a better path.
Yeah.
And you are able to redeem him and root for him.
Yeah.
And that's what Rushmore is, and I love Rushmore. Also, Your Name, the movie Your Name. I rewatched that recently this weekend with Michael Rada because I was in the mood for it. I'm in the mood for that movie a lot. It's a beautiful movie. It's about these two teenagers. They one day wake up in each other's bodies, and they don't know each other at all. They're like from very different sides of it's an anime movie, so in Tokyo, Japan. One of them lives in Tokyo. The other one lives in this like village near a lake, and it's like really nice. But it's just like this beautiful movie, and I don't really know how to explain it. You just have to watch it. I really liked watching Michael Rada watch it.
Yes.
Because every few seconds I would just see him go. And
I can picture it too.
Yeah, that was very entertaining. And then he leaned over to me after the movie and he was like, I cried 3 times. I also like Spider-Verse. Spider-Verse, that's a very big thing. Miles Morales, Spider-Man in general is just a very big thing that I love. It's like him and Guardians of the Galaxy are like my favorite superhero stuff. Or anything James Gunn does superhero-wise. So Into the Spider-Verse specifically, because I've only seen Across the Spider-Verse once, but Into the Spider-Verse is at least like a finished story.
Yes.
Page to book, end to end. Where Across the Spider-Verse is obviously leading into this new one. And it also didn't have like that effect that Into the Spider-Verse had on me when I left the theater for the first time.
Because it was also new.
It was also new. And I was like in middle school, when you're like annoying in middle school, I was like, I actually know who Miles Morales is. I read the comics. And I walked into that movie. I think it came out freshman year of high school. And I was just like, yeah, Miles Morales. Hell yeah, Miles Morales. I also really like the movie Game Night, which is by the directors of the Dungeons and Dragons movie Honor Among Thieves that came out recently. And they're also doing a Monopoly movie now. Because I guess the takeaway from the studios wasn't that they're good directors, it's just that they like board games. But they have this movie called Game Night with Jason Bateman, Rachel McAdams, Kyle Chandler. And it's really funny. It's really stylized also. That's actually been an inspiration for me recently because every time when I have like a camera movement in something in like the last 2 years, it's inspired by Game Night. That movie is just it's like able to balance being a mainstream comedy and also being like its own stylized thing, which I love, and I love that movie and I rewatch it frequently. Other than that, that's like my Letterboxd top 4 besides Guardians. And I like what else do I like? I like Edge of Tomorrow. I love the Mission Impossibles. Those movies 4 and then 6 onwards. Love them. Ghost Protocol, love you. You're my favorite. Even though Fallout is a very close second. Mission Impossible Fallout has, I think, the best movie trailer of all time. Because I keep track of that stuff for some reason. But the trailer for Mission Impossible Fallout is just so good. It's set to like Imagine Dragons. I don't even like Imagine Dragons.
Radioactive.
It's just like and it's like edited to like fit into the main theme of the Mission Impossibles, and it's just like so on beat. And Henry Cavill's recharging his hands, which doesn't have a sound effect in the movie, which is like the one bad part of the movie is that he doesn't have a sound effect when he reloads his fists. But in the trailer, he's like, and it's just like, you're doing too much, man, and it's perfect. I mean. Thank God we got that movie. I mean, like, I'll sacrifice Justice League for that movie. Fallout, Mission Impossible Fallout is such a good movie. I feel like those movies are able to like really balance the line between like being big summer blockbuster but also like kind of art house.
Yeah.
Which I love. And like watching Fallout or Dead Reckoning, which I saw in theaters 4 times.
Yeah.
It's like just really great because it's like these very like a lot of care is put into those movies.
Exactly,
obviously. And Tom Cruise is also just very passionate about them. Love his movies. I don't know about the guy, but I love his movies.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just like the recent Mission Impossibles 4, 6, and onwards are just really great.
Yeah.
Also, another movie like that is The Raid. The Raid 2 specifically is like the perfect art house action movie. There's a fight scene in that movie involving hammers, and like when I kept like hyping it up to Michael Rada and Aaron Russell, who I'm again referencing because I saw it with them, I was like, I didn't know hammers could do that. So I don't suggest looking up that scene. I suggest watching the movie because it's such a good movie. Okay, this is going to be a long episode now. What else do I like? I had something in my head. Oh, the movie Right Lane.
Yeah.
That was at Sundance my freshman year. I didn't get to catch it until it was on Hulu, though, which I very much regret because that's such a good movie. That's very stylized, but also just this very personal story about like a romance over just like the course of a day. But it's just like, so how did you break up with your ex? And instead of just telling the audience about it, it's a flashback of a bunch of different versions of this character sitting in a theater watching a stage play of her reenacting her breakup with her ex. And he eventually he sometimes intervenes and is just like, so like why'd that happen? And then she just looks out at the audience and is just like, basically blah 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 blah. And it's just that it's able to really, that's like a very inspiring movie because it's just showing how much like you don't have to be this huge massive budget thing to be so stylized and to be so unique. Also the director James Sweeney, who I very like, he did the movie Twinless, which we saw at Sundance this year. It was my favorite movie at Sundance. He's able to balance that line very well because he also has this movie called Straight Up that I watched over spring break because I really like Twinless, which doesn't have a distributor at the time of recording, which is insane to me because it was my favorite movie at the festival that year and everyone else I know loved it. So I guess, hey, studios, pick up Twinless, please. Asking for myself. I want to see it again. He's able to balance that line very well. He's able to do a thing that I really want to figure out, which is having a split screen shot, pan both ways and create 2 different split screen. Having one shot pan out 2 different ways and create a split screen, and then having them fuse again at the end. I think that's so impressive, and I really want to figure out how to do that. And also the director John Carney. Really like him. He did the movie. He did Flora and Son, which I mentioned earlier. He also did Sing Street. Once. The movie Once. He did the movie Begin Again. I love all those movies because those movies are just like I recognize when movies are kind of bleak, but his movies are just so happy and they're all about music and how music brings people together and they're just such a joy to watch every time. Like Sing Street, Begin Again, and Flora and Son, which I've only seen the once, unfortunately, but and obviously like your Edgar Wrights, your Wes Andersons, who I've referenced earlier.
But you know what brought me a ton of joy? This episode of the Zicast.
I'd
like to thank you so much for coming on, Alex.
Of course.
And I wanted to ask if you had any like.
If I have a story.
You do have a story, but do you have any motivational words or plugs or anything you want to give the audience before you leave?
Motivational plugs. I don't know if a lot of the stuff I have coming up will have happened already by the time this is posted. Like I can't say like go to the Quinnies because the Quinnies would have happened by then. Motivational stuff. I don't know. I think I'm bad at advice because I don't follow my own advice.
A lot of people don't.
Yeah, because like I try to be like when people ask me for advice, I try to be like whatever happens, happens, because that's what Spike says in Cowboy Bebop. But I don't follow that at all. I'm stressed like all the time here, but not in a bad way. Like you're supposed to be stressed. So yeah, whatever happens, happens, guys. I'll try to follow my own advice within the context, like what I said about the Quinnipiac Tonight thing, within reason. Obviously, say yes to like most things. Because like I really like just saying yes to stuff and it leading to something that I wouldn't have done otherwise, or just having the chance to do stuff that I haven't done otherwise. Like my acting class that I have to take as a film major. I have to take an acting class. I'm taking it now. Like my acting class a few weeks ago, we just like our professor runs a theater nearby, and she was just like, for class this week, we're not going to have it a regular class. We're just going to go to the theater I run, and we're going to go see Peter Pan. And I was just like, I feel like most people would be turned away from that, but I was just like, oh, hell yeah, we're seeing Peter Pan. I would never have the chance to go see Peter Pan otherwise, or go to this theater, which is like right by either a river or the beach. I think it's just by a river. But it's just, I don't know, expand your worldview is my advice. Expand your worldview in ways that you wouldn't expect, so you can just like, okay, like how you say everybody has a story. I like having stories. A lot of the times when I say yes to things, it's just so I can have a story about it later. Like, will I probably enjoy doing this? Well, if it's something like I dislike, will I probably enjoy doing this? No. Yes. But if I say yes, I have a probably really funny story about it later. Yeah,
exactly. We love content farming.
And
of course, we love having you on here, Alex. And something Michael Rada said that you're the funniest person he knows. And I think you're definitely an S tier funny person.
Oh.
Because you're so
What's
clever.
Your ranking now?
My ranking? I don't know if I can't disclose.
Me? Bill Murray.
But no, you're so clever and very quick. Like I mentioned, like pop culture references. Like somebody says something and you just like add on to it. And it's like a second will go by and then I'll pick up on it and then I'll start laughing.
No, I think you're right, Zach.
But overall, like you're so funny. You're so, like I said, clever. Like especially when that shows in your editing. But I don't know if anyone's ever happier to see me when I enter a room than you.
Oh, yay. Well, I am very happy, Ryan Zayag.
Yeah. Nobody gets cooler photos of me spontaneously than you. Like if there's a cool photo of me, it's probably you taking it.
Oh yeah. Every time someone tries to hand me a camera, I'm always the first to like kneel. Yeah. Put it on 0.5. Yeah. Make it look like an album cover or something, because I just really love that. Yeah. I don't know. I unfortunately am always the one usually taking the photo, so I don't have many cool photos of me like that. But I like taking cool photos like that for people. Yeah. And yeah, I love that.
Suffering from success. And overall, it's just you're always so bright. And it's always like you being in a room, it's always going to be fun. If you're involved in if you're involved in something, it's always going to be fun. And this was so much fun. So thank you, Alex. It was great having you.
Of course, Ryan Zax. Thank you for having me on.
Of course.
Thank you for letting me defeat all 73 other people.
Yes.
Including Liam Chen.
Ow.
Yeah. It wasn't that hard to beat Liam Chen. No. Yeah. I mean, like, Ben Darling was the hardest one to defeat. Yes. I know his episode will be up by now.
Yes.
Shout out Ben Darling, guys.
Yeah. And shout out you, Alex. And thank you so much again for coming on.
Thank you, Ryan Zayax.
And as always, this is Ryan Zayax with the Zicast, where everyone has a story.
Yes, they do.
Signing off. Thank you so much for watching.